Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell, so you never miss a play. The Washington Commanders walked into this matchup carrying the weight of an entire season of mixed signals, confusing performances, and the fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, they were finally starting to understand who they were. After going toe-to-toe with the Denver Broncos just 1 week ago, the team looked like it had discovered a spark that could turn into something bigger. Fans entered this weekend believing the Commanders were on the verge of a turning point, especially with several important players finally returning to action. But what unfolded on the field was not the rise everyone anticipated. Instead, it was a brutally honest reminder of where this franchise actually stands, and the answer was far more painful than anyone wanted to admit. This was supposed to be the big moment. The long-awaited reunion between quarterback Jayden Daniels and wide receiver Terry McLaurin, who had not shared the field since Week 2. The anticipation surrounding their return together felt like the storyline the Commanders needed. To shift momentum, Daniels had spent weeks battling through the rehab of a dislocated elbow, fighting to get cleared, fighting to prove he could return stronger, and fighting to salvage what was left of this season. And McLaurin, the offensive leader who has weathered every kind of storm this team has thrown at him, was ready to finally get back into rhythm with the rookie quarterback Washington believes is the franchise's future. Everything pointed toward this being the game where fans finally got a clear picture of who the Commanders were becoming. In a cruel twist, that is exactly what they got, only not in the way anyone hoped for. From the opening minutes, everything collapsed. The Commanders' defense, which has flirted with disaster all season long, fell apart instantly. It was not just bad, it was not just disappointing. It was the kind of performance that forces an entire organization to rethink who they are, how they prepare, and who should even be part of the plan going forward. The Minnesota Vikings, a team that had not scored a touchdown on 22 consecutive possessions, came out firing like they were facing no resistance at all. They marched down the field on their first drive and punched in a touchdown. Then they did it again. By the time the second quarter rolled around, the Commanders had given up 31 points, including 4 total touchdowns. And every concern about the defense from earlier in the season came roaring back at full volume. J.J. McCarthy, who has been one of the most inconsistent young quarterbacks in the league this year, looked like a seasoned veteran dissecting a defense that never adjusted, never tightened up, and never made him uncomfortable. Every throw looked easy. Every read looked clean. Every play felt like the Commanders were one step behind. And by halftime, the mood inside the stadium shifted from frustration to disbelief. Fans who expected progress were instead watching the same nightmare they had seen far too many times over the last several seasons. A nightmare where Washington's defense gets exposed and the offense is left scrambling to keep up. Yet somehow, the defensive meltdown was not even the worst moment of the afternoon. That honor went to the heartbreaking scene that unfolded when Jayden Daniels, already playing through lingering discomfort, took a brutal hit while trying to make a play after throwing an interception. He went down hard on the same injured arm he spent more than 1 month rehabbing. The moment he hit the ground, the entire stadium went silent. You could feel the energy drain out of the building. This was not a normal injury scare. This was the kind of moment that forces everyone to reconsider what the rest of the season is even supposed to look like. Daniels tried to get up, but the pain was obvious. Trainers rushed onto the field, teammates took a knee, and the rookie quarterback who had worked so hard to get back on the field suddenly found himself right back where he started. It was devastating. He walked off the field slowly, his face showing a mix of exhaustion, disappointment, and frustration. And that was the moment where everything changed. The offense never recovered. The sideline looked emotionally deflated, and fans began asking the question that the coaching staff can no longer ignore. Should Jayden Daniels be shut down for the remainder of the season? The sad truth is that Daniels never looked comfortable even before the injury. His timing was off. His mechanics looked rushed. His confidence seemed shaken. Some of that can be blamed on rust. Some of it can be blamed on the offensive line allowing too much pressure. But a lot of it reflects the emotional toll this season has taken on him. For a rookie quarterback thrown into chaos week after week, the burden becomes heavier than anyone realizes. After leaving the game, Daniels appeared visibly upset, and it is clear that forcing him back into this environment might do more long-term harm than good. And all of this comes during a week when head coach Dan Quinn delivered a passionate speech about how the team may have lost games. But they were no longer lost. Those words feel hollow now. The Commanders were not just beaten by a struggling Vikings team. They were blown out from start to finish. They were outplayed, outcoached, and out-energized. They hit a new low point, one that makes it impossible to ignore the team's deeper problems. The defense is the worst in the league again. The coaching structure is in desperate need of an overhaul, and the roster is filled with players who do not appear to fit a cohesive vision. It is becoming increasingly obvious that a complete teardown might be the only path forward as fans watch their team get shut out. For the first time since the year 2019, frustration boiled over, social media flooded with anger, disappointment, and exhaustion. Supporters of this franchise are tired of the emotional roller coaster, tired of buying into false hope, and tired of watching a team that refuses to build any kind of meaningful identity. And this latest loss proves that the Commanders are not one or two adjustments away from success. They are miles away from where they need to be. This upcoming week will not be easy. Difficult conversations are unavoidable. The front office must decide what matters more, squeezing out a few more meaningless snaps from a physically compromised rookie quarterback, or protecting him from further injury and ensuring his long-term development remains the priority. The coaching staff must examine why the defense is collapsing again despite personnel changes, and fans must brace themselves for the realization that this season, once filled with the promise of change, is now nothing more than a harsh reminder of how far this team still has to go. The Washington Commanders wanted this game to reveal their true identity. In a way, it did, but instead of seeing growth, resilience, or progress, we saw instability, miscommunication, and a team drifting further away from competitiveness. And unless something dramatic changes, this season will be remembered not for the moments of promise, but for the harsh reality it exposed about the franchise's foundation. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. The NFL world is in complete chaos tonight, with fans, players, and analysts alike left in total disbelief over a shocking turn of events that has thrown the league into turmoil. A game that was scheduled to be one of the highlights of the season, pitting the Washington Commanders against the Minnesota Vikings, has been abruptly canceled under circumstances that are still shrouded in mystery. The announcement came almost out of nowhere, creating a whirlwind of speculation that is rippling across social media, sports talk shows, and every corner of the football universe. Those who tuned in expecting the clash of quarterbacks, strategic play calls, and edge-of-the-seat moments instead found themselves staring at a blank schedule and a barrage of official statements that seemed to answer more questions than they raised. The league, usually meticulous and composed in its handling of schedule changes, now finds itself at the center of a storm, and whispers of internal investigations have begun to spread like wildfire. Reports are coming in from multiple sources that the cancellation was not due to typical reasons such as weather, field conditions, or logistical delays. This is significant because the NFL, renowned for its ability to play through extreme conditions, rarely halts games without extraordinary cause. Sources close to the situation suggest that there may be deeper issues at play, possibly involving operational security, compliance matters, or even player safety concerns that have not yet been made public. Fans have taken to social media en masse, posting theories ranging from equipment failures to disputes between team management and league officials. Some insiders hint at possible administrative errors that could have compromised the integrity of the game, prompting league executives to act decisively to prevent any further fallout. The atmosphere is one of unease, as the NFL has historically prided itself on maintaining control and order, but tonight, that control seems tenuous at best. The timing of this cancellation could not be more dramatic. Both the Commanders and the Vikings were entering the matchup with a roster full of talent, including some of the league's most talked-about stars, and the anticipation was palpable among fans, commentators, and analysts. The Vikings, known for their methodical approach and physical gameplay, were expected to test the Commanders' defensive strategies to the limit. Meanwhile, Washington's offensive line, having been the subject of praise and scrutiny alike, was poised to showcase its capabilities against a formidable opponent. The sudden absence of this game not only disappoints fans but also raises pressing questions about how the league plans to handle the resulting disruption in standings, player statistics, and even fantasy football leagues. which have become a major component of fan engagement, the cancellation feels unprecedented in its suddenness, and as the news spreads, one can hear a mix of anger, confusion, and sheer disbelief echoing across online forums and sports channels as speculation mounts. Insiders have confirmed that an official investigation has been launched. The investigation is described as comprehensive, with a focus on identifying exactly what led to the last-minute cancellation. Sources suggest that league officials are examining everything, from internal communications to security protocols, and even interactions between team staff and external contractors. Rumors are swirling that this investigation could extend well beyond a single game, potentially impacting future matchups and prompting a reevaluation of existing procedures. The phrase "full transparency" has been repeated in several preliminary statements from league representatives, but the lack of concrete details only fuels the fire of uncertainty. Analysts and commentators are debating what could be the underlying cause, and theories range from breaches of protocol to administrative oversight, each theory gaining traction in different corners of the football community. Every angle seems to be scrutinized, from locker room management to stadium operations, creating a sense of tension that is almost palpable in sports media coverage. Meanwhile, the fans' reactions have been explosive, ranging from humorous memes to serious criticisms aimed at the league's decision-making processes. The cancellation has prompted debates about accountability, as some argue that the league should have anticipated the problem and prevented the disruption, while others emphasize the importance of player safety and organizational diligence. The Commanders' fan base, particularly vocal on social media, has expressed frustration not only at the cancellation but at the lack of information, demanding transparency and immediate updates. Vikings supporters, equally engaged, are dissecting every available detail, questioning whether this incident could affect playoff positioning or player performance in the coming weeks across platforms. The story is trending worldwide, highlighting how a single unexpected decision can dominate the conversation in today's digitally connected sports culture. Analysts are dissecting each statement, looking for hidden clues, while fans attempt to piece together what little information has been shared, creating a feeding frenzy of rumors and speculation that only adds to the intrigue, adding fuel to the fire. Some sources hint at internal conflicts that may have contributed to the chaos. There are unconfirmed reports that communication breakdowns between team officials and league management might have played a role, and that certain personnel decisions were being questioned behind closed doors. While these claims remain unverified, the mere suggestion of internal discord has led to widespread discussion about governance and oversight in the NFL. Experts are weighing in, speculating on whether this could mark the beginning of a larger shakeup within league operations, or if it is an isolated incident that, while dramatic, will ultimately be resolved without lasting consequences. Regardless, the ripple effects are already evident. Sponsors, media partners, and stakeholders are all closely monitoring the situation, aware that any prolonged uncertainty could have serious implications both on and off the field. The tension is thick, and every development, however minor, is being dissected and analyzed by a global audience hungry for answers. What is perhaps most striking about this incident is the air of mystery that surrounds it. Unlike typical game cancellations caused by weather or public safety concerns, this situation carries with it a sense of secrecy and urgency that is rarely associated with the NFL. The league's response has been measured but cautious, with official statements emphasizing ongoing investigations and the need for accurate information before any conclusions are drawn. Meanwhile, fans and media outlets are piecing together fragments of information, creating a mosaic of theories, some plausible and others more far-fetched. The lack of clear answers only intensifies the speculation, leading to a scenario where nearly every fan, analyst, and insider feels compelled to offer their own interpretation of events. Rumors about potential disciplinary action, procedural failures, or even broader strategic maneuvers are circulating rapidly, creating an atmosphere of tension and intrigue that feels almost cinematic in its scope. Every statement is parsed, every tweet scrutinized, and every media appearance is analyzed for clues, as if the world collectively holds its breath waiting for the next revelation. The cancellation has already sparked conversations about the future of the league and its ability to manage unexpected crises. Questions are being raised about protocols for emergency decision-making, the robustness of communication channels, and the level of contingency planning in place for high-stakes games. Commentators are drawing Comparisons to past incidents in professional sports, noting that while disruptions are rare, they are never entirely unprecedented. What makes this case particularly captivating is the sheer immediacy of the cancellation and the lack of a clear explanation. Leaving fans and analysts alike grappling with uncertainty, the intrigue is compounded by the presence of star players on both teams, whose performances were highly anticipated, and who now face questions about how the disruption may affect their preparation and morale. Coaches, executives, and league officials are under intense scrutiny, and the pressure to provide answers is mounting with each passing hour as night falls and the news continues to reverberate. One thing is clear, the NFL is facing a moment of unexpected vulnerability. The abrupt cancellation of the Commanders versus Vikings game has exposed cracks in communication, planning, and perhaps even oversight, prompting urgent questions about accountability and transparency. The investigation promises to be thorough, potentially uncovering details that could reshape the way the league operates moving forward. Meanwhile, fans remain on edge, social media is buzzing with speculation, and sports networks are racing to analyze every snippet of information as the story evolves. This is more than a simple game cancellation. It is a dramatic, unfolding narrative that highlights the complexity, unpredictability, and very human element of professional sports. The coming days will undoubtedly reveal more, and the world will be watching closely as the league navigates one of the most unexpected crises in recent memory. The shockwaves from this single cancellation are likely to be felt far beyond the stadium, affecting perceptions of the league, team reputations, and the confidence of fans who invest their time, passion, and loyalty into every play, every strategy, and every unforgettable moment on the field. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.